All right, here we go. We're trying it again. I knew something wasn't going to go right today when I didn't push the live button, but the button is pushed now, and we are officially live for the season 2 finale of the Breakthrough Show. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are super excited for a jam-packed episode today of reliving our favorite moments from season 2 and setting the stage for season 3, which we are super excited about. I'm all gussied up today, and I hope that you are too, sitting where you are to talk about season 2. I'm so excited you're here. Please comment down below. Let us know where you're joining us from, and click the love button, click the share button so that more people can enjoy the show with us today. My name is Jessica Dugas. I'm an intuitive mentor and the host of this show, and this is the season 2 finale of The Breakthrough. It's the spiritual view for your soul and mind, where we dig deep on today's spiritual hot topics and inspire you with stories that change our lives. It has been an incredible season, and we are super excited. It's not only the season 2 finale, but this is our 40th episode. It is our 40th episode of the show, which makes it a lot of fun. We have interviewed so many incredible people on this show, and of course, the show has never been complete without my fantastic panelists that join me each and every week. So I want to, without further ado, bring them on with me now. Up first, we have our transformational midwife. She is a calmer presence on the show, though she can get fired up if she really wants to. I know she can. And everybody, please hit the heart button and welcome my friend Crystal Cockerham to the show today.
Yay. Hello, everybody. Thank you.
Happy season 2 finale.
I know. I can't believe it. It's bittersweet, right?
Yeah. It's always kind of like, it's good because we're growing, we're moving forward, but it's always sad to kind of look back, or not really sad, but bittersweet to look back at the fun that we've had, and of course with all of each other as panelists and the guests and all of that. What has been one of your biggest takeaways this season, or something that you've really enjoyed about being on the show?
I love the camaraderie, and I am blown away every single time we have a new guest on at the Breakthrough Stories. You know, the mixers, so to speak. Like if it was a cocktail bar of breakthroughs, it would be an endless drink list. It would. I've got wine on my mind today, sorry.
I would agree with you. And we've been having so much discussion about the future of the show too. And it never gets old kind of envisioning our interactions with each other and having that fun that we have together. I wish that everybody could experience what we do kind of behind the scenes, because it really is like a family, and it's awesome to have you a part of it, Miss Crystal.
Yes, thank you.
All right, up next on the show today, we have our mama bear extraordinaire helping us through all of our traumas as we are experiencing those breakthrough moments. Everybody, please hit the heart button for our friend Siri Ridenauer today. Siri, are we crying already? Oh my gosh. How are you today, Miss Siri? I'm gonna unmute you. Now you can talk.
Absolutely awesome.
Awesome, yay. And you're in costume today.
I have my ears. I decided not to cover my ears today and let them stick out.
So much fun. What has been something that you've really taken away from being a part of season 2, Siri?
The growth of being around all of the panelists and all the different guests. I mean, it's just been a huge growth time for me this season. And we talk about breakthrough. I've had a lot of them this year.
Isn't that funny how that happens? Even though we're on the show and we're doing the panelist thing, that we're still going through it with everybody else, you know, the ups and downs of life and those breakthrough moments. And I think that that's something that makes this show really special, is that we're not ever on the show trying to be higher or better or different than anybody else. We're right in the trenches with all of you. So I love that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here with us today, Siri. Up next, we have one of our friends on the show who's been with us from day one, from the get-go of the breakthrough. She's our relationship specialist, helping us to bring more love and passion into our lives. Everybody, please hit the heart button and welcome our friend Lori Ann Davis to the show today. Yay. Welcome back, Lori. It's been a couple of weeks. How was your vacation?
It was fabulous, as
Awesome.
vacations are.
Right? It was good, I'm sure. What has been a takeaway that you've had from being a part of this show, Lori?
I think it's twofold. One is the camaraderie between the panelists, our time before the show. I love the closeness and the people I've gotten to know better. And then just the inspiration from all the guests. They're just listening to their stories and their breakthroughs. It's just always uplifting and inspiring.
I would agree with you. I agree. There's so many things. I sat down and I was doing like a little inventory of the things that I've felt and gotten from the show. And there's been so much that it's hard for me to pinpoint specific moments and specific episodes because I feel so warm with all of it. So thank you for being here with us, Lori. We always appreciate your insight and your presence here on the show. All right, up next on the show today, we have our declutter coach and consultant helping us to remain organized and everything in its place. Our resident Virgo is here today. Everybody, please hit the heart button for Heather Clark. Yay! I'm so glad that you're back today, my friend. You've been with us since season 1 as well. What have been some of your takeaways from being a part of the breakthrough?
Just the connections, man. Like, the energy that everyone can bring is just amazing. And like the before, the after, the connecting from season 1, season 2, continuing and knowing what's coming in season 3, like just, it's awesome. It's fantastic. Connection has been one of the biggest things I've noticed lately with a lot of people that's missing. And this show has brought that together like no other show that I've seen. So
I love
maybe I'm being biased because I'm on it, but whatever.
We all might have a little bias, but that's okay. I think we really saw that quite a bit when we had last week's show, and even then when we brought everybody together from season 1, so many of those people are connecting now. Like, I know Jamad and Tina are going out to lunch, and like all these little relationships are happening, and it is the coolest thing to sit back and watch those connections happen. So I would agree with you. I love the connection aspect as well. All right, up next on the show, we have another friend of ours who's been with us from the get-go in season 1. She is our juicy girl, our Jane of all things. She is a designer, meditation teacher, photographer. Everybody, please hit the heart button for our friend Tara Abram. Hey.
Hey.
Hi, my friend. Chair dancing for Tara.
Get it started off. It's the finale. Woohoo!
That's right. That's right.
Well,
What has been some of your takeaways from being a part of this show, Tara?
oh gosh, there's so many. I think what's the coolest thing for me is seeing how the show has evolved, like from season 1 into season 2, knowing what's around the corner. And God, just like the guests and the people that we've met, and yeah, like the connections, the relationships, it's just been amazing. And our fans, like the people that show up each week and they heart and they comment, like it's amazing. You guys are all so awesome, and thank you so much for supporting the show. Like, I think that is so cool, and just watching all that grow has just been amazing.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. And everybody that watches the show, like we have literally the best fans of the show on the planet. We have one friend of ours, I won't say her name just in case, but she'll know who she is. She usually doesn't have time to watch the show during the day, so she would literally schedule it in like 2 or 3 in the morning and watch every single week 2 or 3 in the morning, because that's the time that she has. And so those people that continue to schedule it in and make the breakthrough and make us a part of their lives, that's an honor. That's an honor to have that. And so we appreciate all of you fans so much. Well said, Tara. Well said.
I get snaps.
Oh, snaps. Okay, snaps. All right, up next on the show today, we have one of our newer panelists from this season. She is our plant-based wellness coach, and she is international, and she's having cookies in the green room. Everybody, please hit the heart button.
Literally took all the cookies out of my
Friend,
green room.
Shoshana Chaim today. Yay!
They're vegan and gluten-free.
Hey, you're doing it.
Those are the
But
best kinds.
cookies sound good now. Now everybody wants cookies. Fantastic.
Listen, what's with the cakes and cookies on the show?
I don't know.
This is what nobody knows really goes on, right?
Now you all know it's out. What have been some of your takeaways from being on the show this season, Shoshana?
I think my biggest takeaway happened today in the car while I was talking to a friend and explaining about the show. And she's like, well, what kind of breakthrough does it have to be? And my explanation was that you don't have to have the biggest breakthrough in the world to be on the show. We all have breakthroughs. Everybody watching has had a breakthrough. We have multiple breakthroughs and we'll continue to have more. And it's all about people's journeys. And it just made me really, feel good to kind of think about what kind of breakthroughs have other people had just by watching the show that we don't even know about.
Right.
So it's just that feeling of giving and not needing to really know what's going on to feel good about what we're doing here.
I love that. And that's something that I try to share where I can, because even outside of the comments that all of you that are watching leave us on the show, we know that there are many of you that are watching that don't often share, that are going through your own things, and that's great too. And we want you to know that even when you're in that place where you're not comfortable commenting and you're not comfortable sharing about what you're going through, that we still see you. We know that you're there. We know that you're watching, because every now and then we will get a message from someone that we had no idea, we had no clue was watching the show, and then shares that something has changed their lives. And so all of you that are watching that are in that space, that it's not been you to comment, we see you too, and we appreciate you, and we thank you so much for being a part of our Breakthrough family in whatever way feels good for you. And that's actually something that I shared. I was on Chris Burns' podcast not long ago and was sharing about the breakthrough. And if anybody didn't see it, the big sort of, I guess, truth bomb that I shared was that the actual breakthrough doesn't matter. The breakthrough moment doesn't matter unless you do something with it. And it's that journey part that you're talking about, Shoshana. And that's what, because we're all presented with breakthrough moments all the time. But if you don't do anything with that, if you don't allow it to change you and allow it to be part of your life, then it doesn't really matter. And so
taking that aha moment to a breakthrough moment. Right.
Absolutely. So it's a lot of fun to get to hear everybody's stories on the show. Everybody on the show now that you see in front of you today has shared part of their lives. Everybody that, let's see, we had Crystal, Siri, and Shoshana join us this season, but they were all guests from season 1. And we love that because it's allowed us to go a little bit further into their lives. And now that they've had their breakthrough moments that they've shared about, now they're sort of on here sharing their expertise and sharing their thoughts and feelings about other breakthrough moments. And it keeps it very much like a family. And so I've loved getting the opportunity to know everybody better on the show. That's been a big highlight for me. And I also, I'm kind of with Heather on the connections part. That's been the biggest thing for me, is to get to stay connected to everybody and watch everybody creating relationships outside of the show as well. That's what, when I envisioned the show last year, that's what I saw. I saw those people coming together and creating those relationships and having that support system that maybe they didn't have before being a part of the show. And so I love that. So we have a lot of stuff that I want to cover today on the show. I want to get in for all of you that are watching right now, whether you're on live or on the replay, share with us below some of your favorite moments as I go through and share about each of the episodes this season. So on season 2, episode 1 this year, we talked about New Year's resolutions. We met Siri, Crystal, and Shoshana as panelists on the show for the first time. And we talked about New Year, New You, and had a good discussion about that, what we all did over the holidays, and what does New Year, New You mean? And that was a lot of fun to get to welcome some new panelists on the show this season. And then episode 2, Heather and Shoshana were on, and we actually talked about postpartum. We didn't have a guest that day, but we were talking about pregnancy and postpartum and depression and dealing with all of that. And that was a lot of fun to dig in for me with that, with Heather and Shoshana. And share those moments as moms. I love that. We're actually, every single one of us on the show this year or this season is a mom. And so that was kind of fun to dig into that topic.
That shows a growing opportunity for us, I think, because our guest didn't show up last minute. So the green room conversation was a lot about, okay, if she's not showing up, how are we going to handle this? So, it was a little bit of a bonding experience there, but it gave us all a chance to share our personal experience too, and be a little bit more real for the watchers too.
But not only that, but it allowed us to show Jessica as well that, hey, listen, no matter what happens, we got this. And we've said that to her many times. For anyone watching, whatever, there's many times we're like, listen, no matter what, we got this.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, the logistics of doing a show can be interesting. Interesting is the word I'm choosing. And so, we have the choices like anything else. When something is not what we expect it to be on the show, we still have the choice of how we're going to react and respond to it and how we're going to turn that around to make it beneficial for us. So I loved that show. I thought it was a lot of fun. On episode 3 of the show, we welcomed Katerina Stomska, and we had Lori and Siri on that day, and we were talking about rediscovering self-worth. I love seeing Kat's posts. Because she always is nailing that self-worth and self-love home, and how much that has changed for her. Is that something that was hit home for you, Lori?
That was one of my favorite shows, I think, maybe just because of the experience she went through. And I work with so many singles that are coming out of sometimes not great experiences and having to start over. And I loved how much she talked about self-worth and finding that self-worth. And then she gave amazing tips of little tiny small things that are easy to do, but that she did consistently that made such a difference for her. And I loved that when she shared that, because people listening could go, oh, I could do that, or I can do that. And I just thought that was a really inspirational show in so many ways.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that was a really good one. And I believe Kat is going to be joining us again for season 3. So make sure you guys watch out for that, because she's got so much more that she's another one. She's another one that comes on the show, breakthroughs every 5 minutes. She'll be back every season. It's just the way that it goes. And so that was a really good show. On episode 4, we had Daleen Pinder on the show with Tara and Crystal, and she was talking about saying yes to your purpose. That was a big one. And that's kind of what we talk about with breakthroughs. Like when we have that moment of, this is what I should be doing, are you going to take advantage of that or not? Like, how was that show for you, Tara?
Well, Daleen's a lot of fun. Hey, if you're watching. So, I mean, that was great to be on that episode with her. And yeah, I mean, I've seen her online. She's, we see her posts all the time and stuff like that. So she's definitely, following her purpose and stuff like that. So I think that's awesome. It was a lot of fun, that show. We had fun on there before and after.
Yeah. Yes.
From that show, not only was her story wonderful and a great example of how if other people can follow their bliss, so to speak, follow that energy, they can get there. But the energy on that show was amazing. It was a magnetic episode of just she brought it, her charisma was front and center. And
I think we tried to break technology that day too. You can tell some of the episodes, we try to break things.
Well, there was a recent when we almost broke some stuff. I know that for sure.
Or Mercury retrograde played hell in a couple of those episodes too. It was really quite something. Remember, I'm not trying to get ahead of you, but Lori Auger.
Yes.
The perseverance of Lori Auger. I mean, she trucked it down to the coffee shop because she
Yeah.
connection, right?
Yep. Yep. I'm excited to talk about that because there was some moments with that were just absolutely hysterical in the background. And that's one of those things where we're all in the background going, it's going to be all right. It's going to be okay.
we're like, you're starting. Is she going to make it? Is she going to make it the store time? Where is she going to show up?
I know it. So that was a lot of fun with Daylene, and we know, Daylene, you're doing amazing things right now, so keep up the good work with that. Episode 5, we had a returning guest on who was on last week again as well. So she's been on 3 times on the show now. Lucinda Harmon is one of my personal favorites, because her and I connected. We're both double Aquarians, sun and moon in Aquarius, and we connected in that way from across the pond. She's all the way in South Africa, but she always and I think that connection, everything she says is just so profound to me. It's just so makes me think, no matter where I'm at, it makes me think everything that she says. And so she was on talking about life after devastation, having to pick up the pieces. And it's interesting because what she came on to talk about on the show was something that she had been through since the last show. And so sharing again with the breakthroughs every 5 minutes with her, she really has taken every moment and made it something and made it meaningful to her life and allowed it to change her life. Anybody else feel like that with Lucinda? I love her so much. I think she always has so many amazing things to say.
Yeah, my big takeaway from that show is how fast you can turn over. So you can get yourself into a really deep ditch really quickly, but if you take action, you could get yourself out really quickly too.
Yes, that's a really, really good point too. I feel like she tends to move, it's proof of what can happen when you have that aha moment and you make it a breakthrough, but and are putting everything you have behind it, really just combining all of these things that we've talked about on the show, living your purpose, saying yes, building yourself up, self-love, all of the things we've talked about. It's like that. It's like a perfect storm of things that you should have for the optimal breakthrough moment. But always good stuff from Lucinda, for sure. On episode 6, we welcomed a new guest to the show, Jasmine Murray. Heather and Crystal were on that day, and she talked about redefining you. And she talked about an accident that she had where she had to kind of redefine what life looked like for her. And that was one that was very meaningful to me, because I had been through similar things with chronic pain and stuff like that, and kind of redefining what life looks like for me. Does anybody else have any takeaways from that episode with Jasmine?
Well, that was another one of those technical ones, if I remember correctly. Every time she went to respond, we had to wait, and the poor thing, she kept having to repeat herself because of the connectivity. So talk about proving that it's time to be heard and owning your stuff, right? And her story was very powerful. Very powerful.
Absolutely. And we know, Jasmine, if you're watching right now, we know you're doing amazing things as well at the moment. I actually had gotten, she has crystals and things in her store and online, and I had gotten a few things from her, and they're beautiful. And so now I have sort of a little breakthrough memento of hers on my desk, that she was awesome on the show and keeps going no matter what's going on in her life. So we love that about Jasmine. On episode 7 of the show, we had Catherine Dwyer on the show, who's actually a friend of Donna from season 1. So we were excited to get to meet her. And she talked about embracing your soul style, and had discussed, who was on that day? Lori, Tara, and Siri were on that day with Catherine. And she talked about kind of life after her divorce and things like that. And so I know many of us could kind of relate to that as well.
I love that episode.
Yeah.
I connected with Kathy, the fact that we come from basically the same area, but it's okay to be quirky. It's
Yeah.
okay to be yourself, no matter who that is, you know.
Yeah, all fears and all.
Fears and all, you know, it's okay to be who you are and not worry about, even if you're a professional, you know, you don't have to dress in those suits and all of that. You know, you can be who you are, and it's better when you are authentic.
Hmm.
And being
Absolutely. If you guys only knew, that's all I can tell you. We are all,
Sarah's fault.
it's always Chara's fault.
Me?
When things go crazy when she's not on the show, it's just because her energy is still present. That's what I'm calling it. Oh my gosh, you guys. Yeah, Catherine was amazing. And I got that from her too, Siri, about the, you know, that it's just okay to be who you are. And so I love that about that episode as well. Another episode that was fantastic was episode 8, when we had Lori and Shoshana with my local friend Kate Petty. That's the first time that I've had someone that actually lives in the vicinity of me on the show. And Kate is fantastic. Talked about searching for the rainbow. She talked about the loss of her daughter when her daughter passed away just a couple hours after birth. And she really has led the fight here in Alabama to legalize midwifery, which is something that is close to my heart as well. And she's fantastic. Do you guys have any takeaways from that show?
I think it's just amazing how much impact she's made outside of her own bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that that's something to be said for.
Mm-hmm. We can take moments like that, right? And it could go many directions. It could, you know, that I can't imagine what it would be like to hold my child and then the next hour they're gone. You know, to have experienced that must have been something just crazy for her. And since the show, I'm excited to have her on at the end of next season. She's going to be sharing about some new things that she's had going on, but she actually just started a nonprofit in memory of her daughter, which is really exciting. And we actually have the first legal midwife here in our city now, and she's working closely with her to bring that kind of care to our local moms, which is something really exciting. So I'm thrilled for all that Kate's doing, and we wish you lots of love and luck with that, Kate. Episode 9 on the show was the one that Crystal's referring to with our friend Lori Auger, and she talked about finding healing in her life. Bless it. She could not get on the show. She ran down to the coffee shop to get on the Wi-Fi, and then those people clearly had no idea who she is because they were just so loud. They were so loud. No respect at all. But it was fantastic for her to talk about that, and she shared about moving from up north down to Florida, and really finding healing in her life, and then now moving on to heal others. And I know many of us here were able to relate to that because we all sort of helped ourselves and then moved on to helping other people with similar things. And so did anybody have any takeaways from Lori other than that she could run?
Well, just showing the persistence that she had, like, you know, regardless, she's like, listen, I need to tell my story. I'm going to walk my butt down to this. Like, and I wasn't even on, like, I was watching and I could just tell that she's like, no, this needs to be said. I need to voice my, you know, my story because this is going to help somebody else. And it was awesome that she was able to do that. And then you guys, like, the energy again, you guys brought, and the connection that you guys had, it was awesome. It was fantastic.
Yes, I loved that show. Who all was on that day? Who was on that day? We had, let's see, Tara and Crystal were on that day. So that was a lot of fun. And also helped us with the patience thing, and all that taught us a lot behind the scenes as well. And it was very humbling to have her go to such lengths to come on and tell her story. So we are so grateful that you were a part of the show, Lori, and we look forward to connecting with you further as well. The next episode that we had on was episode 10 when we welcomed, I was a little fangirling during that episode. That was with Lynn Thurman. And she is an author and was sharing about publishing you. She was sharing about putting yourself out there in publishing yourself in some way. And the reason that I kind of fangirled a little bit with that show is because she was the author of the very first Oracle deck that I had. And so I was a little like, oh, this is so, because how often do you buy something and you get to like talk to the person, and get to ask them questions, which is a lot of fun.
I believe we all did their Jessica Colors of the
Yeah.
Moon.
Yeah.
Fan.
That is true now. That is true.
Where were you?
That happened too. That was a
You-
fun episode.
On my
I
desk.
love Lynn. Honest to God, and I even told her, I think I told you guys too, I just wanted to hop on a plane and go over there and have tea with her.
I know you guys connected so much, which that's like the connectivity thing that we're talking about. Sometimes those relationships just form immediately. It's like you're meeting somebody that you've probably met them before. Like, it's just the coolest thing to see that. I know you guys connected really well, so that was nice to see, Crystal. And I know
Publishing company and the story of how and her why behind doing the publishing, right? I mean, that was a breakthrough moment all by itself, and speaks to, I'm sure, many of us who have gone through some kind of publishing or publishing events. And, okay, I found that the way I did it with this didn't work for me, and this was really missing. And so I know I can bring it. I'm going to do it. And I just thought, wow, what a shining example of leadership, right? And doability.
Yes, absolutely. I know you enjoyed that show too, Siri. What was some of your takeaways?
Well, I really like the fact that she didn't allow publishers to rewrite her story. If you're going to rewrite my story, fine, I'll do it myself. I'll publish it myself because my words are my words. A lot of times when you send stuff to a publisher or an editor, they want to change, and it completely takes away from the meaning of what you're trying to say from your heart. And that's what I really liked about Lynn, is she said, no, you're not going to take away my words.
Yeah, I love that too. And I think outside of how special that episode was for me, there was also, as I've been working on stories of my own and wanting to publish them, I sort of have had a voice in me that has said like that I've had to go the traditional route. Like, Jessica, you have to get a publisher, you have to do this, you have to do this. And when she told the story, I was just like, it's okay that I don't do things that way. Like, I can self-publish and I can go do it how I want to. I can be all type A in my own little bubble. I don't have to go the other route. So it made me feel good though that that taking a different route is okay. Like, making your own story your own and putting it out in the way that feels good to you and aligned with how you want to do it. Right.
What a breakthrough.
Yeah. Yes, good break for sure. Season 2, episode 11 was Bring Your Dad to Work Day. It was when we talked to Harley Monty, who is Shoshana's dad, and shared about being naturally intuitive. Share with us, Shoshana, how comfortable or uncomfortable that episode was for you.
Well, I've definitely had more uncomfortable airings since then, so it doesn't seem so bad in the long run. But, in preparing for this episode, I wrote down some of my takeaways and some of my biggest things. And I actually learned a lot about my parents in that episode too, because although I've heard my dad tell many stories many times before, over and over again, love you, Dad. I know you're watching, but
we love you, Harley.
there's always something a little bit new. So I actually learned a little bit more about my parents in that episode. So that's kind of like a breakthrough that probably nobody else could have done. But the truth is that he is really good at what he does. And I even know from some of the messages I've got from you guys, in some offline instances where you've mingled with him in his number system. And I am very skeptical of what he tells me, because I always think that there's a parenting vibe getting stuck in there, and that he's just telling me what he thinks I need to hear as like from my dad kind of thing. But I've learned to just trust because it always works out.
That's good. And because I think that's good, because I think we can all sort of take something from that. Like, how often do we have like a parent or someone who's been in our lives a long time, and we're kind of like, well, they're kind of biased in what they're telling us because they're whatever role they play, and to just maybe listen and not have such a filter on about that. And so I love that as well, Shoshana. And I know we had Siri on that day, as well as Crystal, and you guys both had experiences with Harley. How was that for you guys?
That's all I can say is wow.
I was going to say, that was the funnest show that I wasn't on.
Yeah.
She's saying wow, by the way, people.
Yeah.
W-O-W.
Oh.
Everyone here, I was like looking at everyone's face, and I'm like, you guys didn't get that?
I know. I was
Thanks for interpreting.
Give Siri the moment to chime in first, and I'm like, oh no, her sound went out.
No, basically that's all I can say is wow. I mean,
It was good.
how can you not say wow?
If I can talk for Siri,
And I had-
lost her words. She said
No,
that
nobody
my
can
dad
talk.
was able to pinpoint dates. on
Yeah,
her.
and when I had my extended session with him a week later, he literally pinpointed time periods. I mean, right down to years
Yeah.
of things in my life. And I'm like, holy cow.
It was cool for me because I had worked with Harley a couple times over the last couple of years. He was really a shining light. I was so grateful for Shoshana sharing her dad with me, because when my daughter was sick, we were really struggling, and he just brought such a light into my life with some insights about that. And so it was cool for me, having worked with him before and knowing his process a little bit, to see him share with Siri and Crystal, because I was like, "Ooh, that's true. I know that." Like I knew that he was pinpointing things. So it was cool for me to see him work with you guys, knowing little things about each of you and going, "He's right on about that. I would agree."
Yeah. I too, I had an extended session with him after the show, and it was amazing. And I would totally work with him again. And I don't know if they have followed up on it, but I've actually recommended him to other people. In my line of work and with the circles I run in, so to speak, come across a lot of people who do a lot of readings, and they do them different ways, and their gifts come through in a different way. But very rarely do I find somebody who is so spot on like that. And so when the combination all comes together and I can feel that vibration and that frequency, I like to kind of share them.
Absolutely.
And I can add to that too, because I had the opportunity to speak with Harley as well. And he actually hopped on over on my show. And so we got to chat quite a bit, and specific dates and like time frames and like very specific details. Like I was all like, yes, this is awesome. I had so much fun with
Because you're
Harley.
not his daughter.
I could see what you're saying though, but like, are you twisting this a little? No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was great. But yeah, like super specific. Like we had such a great time. It was awesome. So as I said, it was the funnest show I wasn't on.
Yes, it was great. Harley definitely brought amazing energy, and I actually look forward to Harley and I are going to work on a project at some point this year, and so I'm really excited to dig in a little bit deeper with him and get an opportunity to work with him on a professional level. So Harley, you're amazing, and we clearly all love you, and we're going to move on now. So episode 12 of the show, we brought my friend Liz Wilkins on the show. This is the first time we had someone on the show that really doesn't work professionally in the spiritual realm, so to speak, as far as being a guest is concerned. And she talked about learning to flow and shared about really the experience that she had been through in her life, and just sort of very similar to Mia in episode 1 or in season 1 of the show, where she talked about giving up, where she just said, okay, clearly I need some help here. Like I can't do it by myself. And so I really enjoyed Liz talk she called herself, what was she called herself, Heather, about I think Liz was talking about being she said she's not quite a spiritual goddess. Like she was saying something like being a baby goddess or something like that. Like she felt very at the beginning of her journey, but I felt so many things she said were so profound, and I was like, Liz, I think you're farther along on this, honey, than you think you are.
Well, because for her though, she was so into God, and then the breakthrough of like basically saying, forget this, you don't exist, because of the episode that like what had happened to her in her lifetime with her friend, and then having to go through another breakthrough and finding, okay, what is my God, my spirit, what is my thing, because yours is different than mine. Even if it's the same one, it's still different the way that we interact. And I love the way she did that. And I forget exactly, like you were saying, like what she actually called it, but she termed it basically like her way of thinking is different than anyone else's, and that's okay. No matter what it is, that's okay. And I loved it. Like I know, obviously I know Liz personally as well, and from my stuff and stuff, and I love hearing more about her story and seeing where she's come from. So that was one of my favorite episodes today.
Yeah, that's kind of cool too. Something else that's great about the show is that some of us know the guests that come on from outside of the show, like we knew them before the breakthrough through another program, another service, or whatever. And so it's really kind of cool to get to see a different side of them, to maybe hear stories that we haven't heard before. So that's a lot of fun. Lori, I know you were on that show as well with Liz, and one of the things that I really loved is how, like Heather said on her journey, she defined what that looked like for her, yet she's still so like, whatever you believe is great. Like, and that's something that we don't see a lot. When someone gets fired up about their own beliefs, we don't see them still saying, but what you believe is fine. And it's,
I wanted everybody to hear that message. It was just like chomping at the bit, saying, what a different world we would have if everybody could say, this is how I see it, this is my belief, and whatever you take away or whatever your belief is, that's okay, and we can coexist side by side. It was so fabulous that, and her energy of thinking, I haven't really come that far, and I don't really have enough to share, or I'm not a professional. And then she just blew us out of the water with the message that she had to send, which I think is a really great message for everybody, is that you don't have to be in the field. It doesn't have to be some refined message, that you can make a difference in the world if your heart's in the right place. And if your heart's open and you've got that energy, what could you do with that? And to me, she was just such a great example of that it was very memorable for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I love everything that you're saying about that, because I think that she definitely exceeded any expectation that I had. I was so thrilled with everything that she shared. So Liz, we think you did amazing, and we think you are a full goddess in your own right. Absolutely. So on episode 13 of the show, we had actually a friend of Shoshana's, but she wasn't on that day. And we had Aaron Fisher on to talk about his second first breath. And that was with Siri and Tara were on that day. Aaron Fisher has traveled, he travels, to try to get a hold of him, you guys, is hysterical. I actually had a conversation with him the other day. So hi, Aaron, if you're watching. He's just always going, something new every minute. And I loved the stories that he shared. We talked about so much on that episode, so many things that it's hard for me to pinpoint a lot. But I think one of the biggest things for me was when he was discussing that the work that he has done with children in China. and was talking about creating a space for them to really open up and share on their own and grow on their own. And if you just put a question out there, don't jump in and try to form what they're going to say, but let them share with you, and they will go above and beyond. And that really meant something to me, him sharing that and about his experiences in school, and meant a lot to me because we homeschool, and that's sort of the energy that I've been trying to create with my kids as well. So did you have any takeaways from that episode, Siri and Tara?
I loved that episode.
Yes, it was good. And then
Like, I loved it. He had so many like cool things to say. I was going to say a different word. He did though. Like he, like you could tell he was so well traveled, and you could tell he's had so many experiences that, yeah, it was just such a great show. I think we were all like taking notes. Like, I remember at one point, like it was,
and my notes were not great because I had to come back and ask you guys about an acronym. Do you remember what the acronym was, Siri? Because that was gold.
Should, attitude.
Almost.
Should.
Was it SEA or S?
Yes, it was. He said, don't get lost in the sea of should, expect, assume. Yes. It was good. It was so gold. And he did a little video that I actually, if you guys want to see just that little part, I shared a video to the Breakthrough Facebook page of him just doing a live about that. It's something that I've thought about so often. Literally every relationship I'm in, I've thought, am I drowning in the sea? Thank you, Aaron, for that. Thank you for that.
About twice a month, I bump into him at the grocery store, usually on his way back from some kind of trip that he's been on. And like, I have a breakthrough every time I see him at the grocery store.
Right.
He was over here, I think it was Sunday night, he was over here. So like, you can imagine the conversation between like me, him, and Adam going on about nutrition and all these other things. But yeah, it's always a breakthrough with him.
That is true. When we met the other day, it was just, we were supposed to just talk about something and there were breakthroughs. So it was like, he always has amazing things to say, and we're excited to have Aaron a part of the show in the future again, because he's always got amazing things to share. So thank you, Aaron, for your presence on the show. Episode 14 was a lot of fun as well. We had Mary Beth Decker on the show with Heather, Lori, Shoshana, and Crystal that day, and she talked about communicating with animals, which was another very different topic than things we've talked about before. I thought that was a lot of fun. And for me, like getting to see the synchronicities between using your intuition with animals and using them with other humans is really, it was really cool to see a lot of those synchronicities. Did you guys have any good takeaways from that episode?
I definitely did. So I think that I messaged Heather like towards the beginning, and I was kind of like, I don't know. Like, as much as I grew up with intuition around me, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if this works in my life. And my cat hadn't been eating very well, and I kept having this feeling: change the metal cups to glass ones, because the bacteria is growing. And like, have you ever drank from a metal cup yourself? Like, you know, you get like that metal. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to like this. I was on that show for a reason. And I totally changed his bowls to glass bowls. And now he eats. Like, he doesn't have leftover food anymore. And it's not as much of a mess anywhere. And I don't have to worry about like, do I have to change his food or anything like that? So I'm really happy that I was on that show.
I love that. Mary Beth, I hope you're watching, because you changed a little kitty's life for sure. That's a lot of fun. And I know that we talked a lot about on that episode, and there was a lot of takeaways as well. I actually had a private message from that episode as well, of someone sharing about that was such a huge episode for them as well, because they felt like they couldn't connect with their animal that they had, and that now they feel like they can listen now. So Mary Beth, you definitely opened some doors, and thank you so much for sharing with us on that episode. Episode 15 was a fiery one with Heather and Tara, as we spoke with Calvin Witcher about identifying yourself in his episode, Who Am I? That was a lot of fun, and Calvin's going to be back with us next season, and we actually have another connection with Calvin that I'm going to share in a little bit here. But how was that episode for you guys, Heather and Tara?
Okay, well, that one was, I think I deemed it the Calvin and Heather because I kept asking questions.
That was right
It
when
was the
Heather
Heather
got,
show.
that was after she got her hair cut.
Yes.
But no, that was definitely one where like lots of questions, lots of different, because he had such a different way of thinking about certain things that I was like, all right, I gotta ask more. And I was like, I don't even care what Jessica's saying right now. I'm just gonna go in. I totally took over on that one. So yeah, that was another one of my fun moments too. Yes.
Yeah, that episode I think was great. I'm super excited. Oh, is Jessica gone?
It's all right. Keep going.
Oh, keep going.
Everybody else is here.
Well, I was trying to pause for a moment. I'm like, am I the only one? Because you guys all looked frozen too. But yeah, no, that he had so many like great things to like. Yeah, I remember that. We were just like, that was another like note taking one. But that one was hard too because the chat was, there was a lot of fun going on in the chat. We had a hard time. Yeah, there was a lot of giggles in that episode. It was awesome.
Okay, so until we get Jessica back, does anybody know what the next episode was?
Yes, it was with Bruiser actually. I believe so.
So I love that episode and I wasn't on it. First of all, if I can give, I'm the host now. That's so interesting. All right.
Welcome to the breakthrough.
I really wanted to give my 2 cents about the hot topic because it was about an award for all the children, right? And like, what are we doing there and what are we teaching them? And I really thought a lot about it over the last couple of weeks. And I was thinking, you know, in a way, I understand it. And in a way, I'm totally against it. But if we can marry the two and give each child an award, but give them an award with purpose. So be like, you're the child who showed up every game. This is the, showing up for the most award. And kind of, if we give it to them and they could feel good about their accomplishment, then it could kind of work and it could kind of marry the two. Welcome back, Jessica.
That was fun.
So we started talking about Bruiser's show. So who's
yes.
on that show?
Like we said,
Bruiser's-
we've got you.
Oh my gosh, Bruiser's show was Heather and Siri, and I love Bruiser. Bruiser was so Virgo and on point in that show. What I shared with him after the show as well, and with Heather, that he's normally like a little more quiet. Like he's not in that show. He was like, "Excuse me, I have something to say." Like he was just on point and sharing all those exact things that he knew everybody needed to know.
Well, I think it's your fault because you got him fired up in the green room.
Oh yeah, you totally did. With the hot topic fired him up, like what Shoshana was just talking about. That fired him up. And then we just went into like, his passion. So he was just absolutely fired up that entire
Too much sugar in the cookies.
Yeah. That could have happened too.
Did you use white sugar?
We didn't have
Shoshana?
cookies in the green room that day. We had Red Hots. Okay.
We were doing shots before. We were doing something before.
I was talking about the candy.
I was thinking shots.
We
Oh
regress.
my goodness. This is what happens around. It's rein it in.
Listen,
All
you
right,
need to rein it in. You kicked yourself out.
I did.
You
I
decluttered
did.
yourself.
I was like, forget it. All right. Episode 17 of the show was last week, where Heather, Lori, and Tara and I all welcomed back season 1 guests, which it was so fast paced, but there was so much, like, I said it at the end of that episode, I was so incredibly overwhelmed by how much everybody has been accomplishing in literally yet less than a year. Like, I was just so blown away by everything that everybody's doing. And then again, with the connections that everybody's been making. And there are people that have come on that, because we all do these episodes, right? And the guests come on, but they don't really interact with each other. Like they might see each other on another episode, but it's not like they're connected in any kind of way. So to gather everybody on the screen and say, this is your breakthrough family. This is everybody else. If you haven't met them before, here they are now. And they're like having lunch together, and they're planning on trips together. And like it's just so, I get emotional thinking about it, because it's like watching my little baby grow wings. Like it's the coolest thing for me. So I would like to know, Lori, you had, I know it was a hard episode to jump in because everybody had something to share, but I know that you've really connected with a lot of those people from season 1 as well.
Yeah, it was, but it was great to just sit back and just watch the energy unfold and just allow everybody to share and just be there. Like, I don't think that we really needed to be a part of it except to just soak it all in and be there.
Yeah. I loved it though, in that respect, to kind of, because again, we're all on, like you had mentioned too, that you weren't on every episode with them. And it was the same for Heather and Tara. I know you as well. So to just be, sometimes being in the energy is enough, and being in energy is needed, to have all of that come together. And I am completely shocked that I didn't declutter myself last week with as many people as we had on the screen. But I just thought it was so good. Heather and Tara, did you guys have any big takeaways from last week?
And it was just fun, like you said, like listening to the stories of everyone after, like, since they've been on the show. And it was, like you said, was like not that long ago that they were on the show. So therefore, just hearing certain things they've done since that, and then what they're doing forward, and just the energy. And listen, Jahmad and his energy just bringing to the table, man. Like that man he's like, listen, I don't care. I used to be a panelist. I'm coming in. So that he's probably the reason why we didn't get in. Love you, Jahmad, by the way. Love you.
Yes.
But oh my God, that guy, hilarious. But no,
it was fun having him back.
Yeah. I missed Jahmad for sure. I pointed out on last week's episode that we had a chance to connect in Atlanta last month, and it's the coolest thing when you've been with someone like this, and then you get to actually hug them and share a meal with them. And Lori and I have as well. And I hope everybody else eventually, because it's the most fun experience. So yes, last week was a lot of fun, and we can't wait for the end of season 3, when we've got all the fabulous people that we've mentioned today to come back on the show and share about what they've been up to since this season, which we're really excited about as well. So ladies, I'm going to go around, and I would love for you to share what you're going to be up to this summer, if you've got anything big coming up, and what is on your plate moving forward. I'll start with Crystal.
Well, this summer is summertime, so it's my favorite time of the year. My birthday's at the end of the month.
Yay!
So I always have my own little thing for myself. And, we have a place up north in northern Michigan, and I like to go there. So professionally, I have co-authored in another book through Conscious Creators Publishing. It's titled Dances of Women's Soul. The date has been pushed back, so I don't know when the release date is. I think it's in July, but I'm not sure. But as soon as I get that information, you'll be seeing it on social media, I'm sure. Also started writing articles for the Conscious Creators magazine, which the next issue will be available on Amazon in July. And I just recorded and submitted my first meditation for Conscious Creators radio station.
Awesome. That is exciting. So many good things.
Yeah.
So many good things. We're excited for you, Crystal. And of course, as you guys are hearing about these things, we will be sharing anything that these ladies are putting out. We're going to be sharing about them on the Breakthrough page. So you'll be able to find them here as well, and on thebreakthroughshow.com. So, all right, Siri, what do you have going on this summer and coming up?
Well, we have 2 bands that we're working with. And the one, Duramata, is an eclectic acoustic band, and it's all original music, and it's all around life, the breakthroughs. The one that writes the songs is a cancer survivor, and all of our songs minister to people. And so we're going to be going out and working. The other band that my husband just joined has asked me to sing backup and feature. So we're moving our ministry out into the streets, so to speak.
That's awesome. And we want to see videos. We want lots of videos. And I know that I believe the gentleman that you're mentioning is actually going to be a part of season 3 of The Breakthrough.
Awesome.
So we're excited about that as well. And so that's the one thing I love is I love getting to connect with people that you are all connect with as well and bring them into the Breakthrough family and let us hear their stories as well. So
you'll get to hear one of the songs that he and I do during the episode.
Yeah, so we're going to have music on the show next season. Yeah. Very exciting. Very exciting. All right. Lori, what do you have going on next season or next summer?
Summer. Well, summer's my favorite time of year too. So besides swimming in the pool with the kids and doing less homeschool, I actually had a publisher contact me recently and offer me a book deal. So I have some really strict deadlines in June. I will be writing a book. So it'll be on social media when it comes out. I'm really excited about it. Next week, have a meeting with a production company. We've been talking to them for a while. We're hashing out a possible TV show. So who knows what's going to happen with that. So I'm just going to keep you posted and we'll see. But I'm excited because you know what? Only good stuff's coming and it's all going to be fun and it's all going to be good. And I'm just excited.
We're excited about that. And Lori's actually not going to be with us. I have a visitor today. She wanted to be part of the panel too. She's fine. So she's just going to hang out the rest of the show apparently. But Lori's not going to be with us next season. So Lori, we are so thankful for the part that you played on The Breakthrough since season 1. We are going to miss you so much, but we know that you will come back and plug in every now and then. I know we're going to be talking about relationships at some point in season 3. So of course, Lori has to come back for that. So thank you so much, Lori, for everything and for being such a wonderful presence on the show.
I'm gonna miss y'all.
We're gonna miss you too. But we know that it's gonna be so many good things coming from you, and we're excited to share in that. So you guys will still be able to keep up with what she's doing on the Breakthrough page as well. So don't fret about that. All right, Heather, what do you have coming up this summer?
Well, switching schedules with the kids because we do week on, week off with the when it comes to summertime. So doing that, and then also I've been saying it for a while, but BYOC TV is coming. So Bring Your Own Clutter TV. I'm still trying to figure out an actual date and fiddling around with my schedule, but it will be a mix of live show plus pre-recorded and doing that. So that's one of the biggest things that I've been doing because holy vulnerability coming out and doing that and being, having my own show as well. But yeah, other than that, I still have my membership that I've got where we declutter together and have fun together like this. So yeah, that is all.
Yes, it's the best thing ever. So if you guys aren't a part of BYOC membership, you need to hook up with Heather because we have so much fun. And Bruiser's in there that we've talked about, and Liz is in there that we've talked about. That's actually where I met those two guests through. And so I love you too.
I love you too, Jess.
Can we say I love you to everybody?
I love you.
Aww.
So definitely connect with Heather about BYOC. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tara, what do you have coming up this summer?
Well, I'm hoping to get some sun and sand time in this summer. We're kind of going through a bit of a move right now. So I hope to get that all done. And same thing with the homeschooling, a little bit less homeschooling over the summer. Just enjoy some time with the kids. I'm finishing up a design project right now and my Law of Attraction certification. So that's kind of fun. There'll be some exciting things coming up in the works, but things will be moving forward like with the show and stuff like that. But I'm hoping to take a little bit of some fun time this summer with the kids, especially.
Yes, that is always good to take a little bit of downtime. We're going to do that this weekend as well and go to the beach and get some of their energy out, which I think will be really good. Shoshana, what do you have coming up this summer?
This summer. So this summer I have 2 children going to sleepaway camp and a husband going to Europe for 5 weeks. So I have some me time, and everybody's like, how are you going to spend that? And I'm like, I'm going to spend it working, but I'm going to spend it enjoying working. We have at the Plant Trainers Podcast, we're actually launching the Vegan Podcast Academy for coaches and trainers who are really interested in making the world a better place and getting their message out, and using that as a way to attract their ideal clients, as opposed to plugging away at Facebook and Instagram all day long. So that's really exciting. We're continuing to do consultations throughout the summer as well. And I've actually just finished up signing on both sides a contract with a publishing company as well to start publishing my 2 children's books. So I'm really excited about that. So Lori, deadlines also. Yeah.
Everybody's got big things going on. We all have things to do, deadlines we have to meet. So even when we're not here plugging away on the breakthrough, we've got a lot going on behind the scenes as well. So everybody remember to keep up with all of your panelists from the show at the Breakthrough Facebook page and www.thebreakthroughshow.com. All of their links are there so that you can connect with them off of social media as well. As for me this summer, we are going to the beach this weekend, and then I am back hard at work getting ready for season 3 over the next couple of months. We are really excited for a lot of new things coming up for season 3, a lot of changes and a lot of positive changes as well. One of the sad things is that Shoshana also will not be back for season 3, but we are so thankful for the energy that you brought here to the show, Shoshana, and also with sharing your dad with us. That was fun too, and sharing your thoughts and opinions about things. And it has been a pleasure, after working with you on a personal level for so long, to work with you professionally as well. And so thank you for your presence on the show, and we wish you lots of luck with all the things that are coming. Yay. So talking about season 3 for just a moment, we have got, yes, ma'am.
There was one other breakthrough that we didn't address yet.
What breakthrough was that?
We missed the Jessica Dugas Colors of the Moon.
Oh.
Breakthrough that happened.
Yes, that was a fun breakthrough over this season. This season I launched my Oracle deck, Colors of the Moon, and it was so much fun. And almost all the ladies on the show have their own deck, and I'm so thankful to have you all have participated in that with me, because it's always fun when you're doing more than one project at a time, and it's kind of like, where do I put my energy? What do I do now? And you guys were so great during the launch, and supportive, and always reminding me to share on the show like this about the things that I do, because I'm always like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I appreciate that. It was a lot of fun. And if you haven't gotten your copy yet, you can go to bit.ly/COTM Oracle, and I'm going to put that in the comments for you guys. COTM Oracle, and then you guys can get it there as well. So thank you for that reminder, Crystal. It was a lot of fun. So again, talking about season 3, we are really excited we have lined up some fabulous guests already for you guys. We're going into season 3 doing themes for each month, which is going to be a lot of fun. And the theme coming back on August 2nd is going to be Get Fired Up. So if you are starting projects late in the year, if you're excited about the things you're doing, if you need more inspiration, positivity, motivation, the people in August are going to blow your mind, and we're going to be high energy and fired up and ready to go in that summer heat here on this side of the world. And so we're excited about that. And we also have a couple new panelists joining us for season 3. Genevieve Kahn, who you guys saw in season 1 and also on our comeback show last week, will be joining us as a panelist. And also Jeremy Witcher is going to be joining us as a panelist. We mentioned his hubby Calvin Witcher that was on the show, and we are really excited to have him front and center on the screen. I actually met with him the other day, and he's done shows and stages and things like that before, but he kind of got away from it, you know, playing dad and doing all the things that he does behind the scenes for Calvin. So we're super excited to have him on the show and sharing his perspective as well. We're getting some of that male energy back on the show. It should be interesting to share with him nonetheless. So we're really excited about that. We also have something really exciting launching July 1st, 2019. We have the After the Breakthrough community coming, which is really fun and exciting. It is going to be a place where you can gather with fellow fans of the show, with us as panelists, the host of the show, and the guests of the show as well, and be able to connect further. We only have an hour on each show to be able to share about breakthrough moments, and this is going to be something where you can dig in further and say, okay, yes, we talked about your moment, but how do I do it? What are the steps? How can we connect further? There's going to be virtual events. There's also going to be a really exciting live event, Breakthrough Live, coming 2020, which we're super excited about. And I have to get planning on that as well, because it's literally like 1 year away. And this live event is going to include, so we're going into season 3, but the live event will also include the season 5 premiere during the live event with an audience, and it's going to be so much fun. And so we're excited about all of these things. I'm going to drop a link below. You guys can actually take a peek at what we have going on Patreon, which will get you plugged into our After the Breakthrough community. And we'll be super excited to welcome you there and dig deeper with you guys, get to know you better. You can get to know us better and really be a part of our family, because that is what is so much fun for many of us here. So all of that said, I love you guys so much. Thank you all, Crystal, Siri, Lori, Heather, Tara, Shoshana, for being a part of season 2. It has been so much fun. And Lori and Shoshana, we wish you lots of luck with everything that you're doing going into the remainder of the year. And you can find Crystal, Siri, Heather, Tara, Genevieve, Jeremy, and myself back here live on Friday, August 2nd, 2019 for the season 3 premiere of The Breakthrough Show, when we're going to talk about getting fired up. So it's not something you want to miss. Stay tuned each and every day during our break from the live show. You're going to see all the replays of every single episode of The Breakthrough playing on the page, as well as what all of your favorite guests, host, myself, and all of our panelists are up to. You can find lots of information on the Breakthrough Facebook page over the summer. Check in with us. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know how much you've enjoyed the show, what your favorite moments are, and we will see you next season on The Breakthrough, same time, same place. Have a great summer, everybody.